Hey, what's up guys, it's MugenLord here, and today I want to talk about Dragon Ball. Yes, that's right, we just around the corner when it comes to the release of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and I know a lot of you guys are super excited about this, and believe it or not, this is such a big deal. For those of you guys who aren't too familiar with the Dragon Ball Tenkaichi series, this is pretty much a long-awaited sequel, or I guess you would say somewhat of a reboot or a reintroduction to a new generation of players who have never got a chance to experience this Dragon Ball arena fighter that many of you guys have grown to love over the time of the series, and now it's finally returned with Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So before we even dive into this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this video is because since a lot of you guys, especially on Twitter, and looking at a lot of the reactions when they first revealed Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, that it pretty much blew up the internet, especially from the Dragon Ball community, because this is something that you guys have long awaited for and been super excited and have a personal attachment to this, because a lot of you have grown up since you guys are much younger than me. Most of you guys, when it comes to Dragon Ball fighting games, especially 3D fighters, this is most of you guys' first experience when it comes to the fighting games. But I've been playing Dragon Ball fighting games much earlier than that when it came to Dragon Ball GT Final Bout. You have to understand, back then, especially in the 90s, once Dragon Ball Z came over to the States, it was such a big deal. It was super popular, and everybody and every kid my age at the time really wanted to play Dragon Ball Z, a actual fighting game or a video game of some sort. And the moment we have ran or gotten into the PS1 era, which is the 3D graphics generation, we wanted to play a Dragon Ball, especially a 3D Dragon Ball fighting game. And Dragon Ball GT Final Bout was a title that we wasn't expecting, because GT wasn't a thing in the States yet. We were still around the Saiyan saga of Dragon Ball Z at the time, so this was the only introduction that we had to a fighting game of Dragon Ball Z, or just the Dragon Ball series in general. And trust me, it sucked. It was horrible, but we ate it up because we was desperate for a Dragon Ball fighting game at that time. And then we also got the Dragon Ball Budokai series much later on the PS2 and the next generation of consoles, and that was a love letter to Dragon Ball fans, especially during the Toonami era with the Bruce Faulkner soundtrack and the Funimation voice actors. What more can you ask for? We finally got a chance to be able to live as these characters and experience the intensity and the powering up and the blast struggles and everything that we wanted, and actually able to knock our opponents into these various different environments that shape the battle. And we really enjoyed that aspect. But the thing that really, I guess you say, kick-started the 3D fighters the most was Dragon Ball Tenkaichi series. It was the longest, it was the last, it lasted much longer, and it was pretty much famous and amongst the Dragon Ball community for its massive roster. It did not shy away from adding the ridiculous amount of characters that shouldn't even be in the game as a fighter. Frieza's grunts, you had Pui Pui and many other characters. These characters were playable characters, and this is something that fans really wanted from a Dragon Ball game. And I think when it comes to Dragon Ball Tenkaichi, this game allows you to feel like you're in the Dragon Ball universe. And ever since that, that series had pretty much essentially ended, we really haven't gotten anything much close to it as far as a fighting game is concerned, until much later with the Dragon Ball Xenoverse. But that's more of a online experience where you create your own characters and within the Dragon Ball world. But to see that people are super excited for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, it's really, I think it's just heartwarming that gamers who grew up with this and was much younger at the time really has the opportunity to enjoy it. And with this addition of the game being brought to a new generation, now we get to see some of the new characters that's been added ever since, especially with Dragon Ball Super, and we get a ton of that. Now, the question is that I really have for this game, and since we in modern generation, we in a modern time, and it's been a long time since we've seen the Dragon Ball Tenkaichi series pretty much make its way to the public once again. And now we have Sparking Zero. The question is, will this game fall into some of those traps of modern gaming? And what do I mean about that? And this is the thing that really has me concerned, I guess, the most when it comes to Dragon Ball Sparking. And the fact is that, will we encounter, fighters past or seasons past, or will we encounter crazy DLC when it comes to this game? Because before, like I said before, with Dragon Ball Tenkaichi, the base game, you had a shit ton of characters that you can play from. Now that we have this, and even looking at the display that they've shown that there's going to be a lot of characters, will some of these characters still be locked behind DLC rather than just being all included in the base roster, which really has me really pondering about. And I wanted to ask you guys this question as well. Is this something that you're concerned about? Or if you guys are just like, hell with it, I'm just happy that we're getting it. But will Bandai Namco really dial back and cut back on including a lot of these characters in the base roster and just save them for like a season's pass and everything like that? But besides that fact, another thing that I really want to, I guess you would say, really look out for, and hopefully, they add into this game, is the thing that I really want to see out of this game, is the fact is that I hope they add some form of, I guess you would say, team play, like 2v2. I mean, the environments are massive, and we get some of these iconic locations that you see in Dragon Ball universe. I would love to see us be able to team up with a partner and be able to play 2v2. I think that would be a cool aspect and a cool dynamic to this game. I think the more modes, the better for this. And the fact is that as far as the gameplay is concerned, it's staying, from what I've seen in the demonstration that they've shown, that it's staying true to what people love about Dragon Ball Tenkaichi series, especially with Sparking Zero, is the fast-paced, frantic action and the actual feel of you taking control of these characters, and you're part of the universe. You feel part of the Dragon Ball universe, and you just can't get enough of it. And I can't wait to see what other characters that he's showing. And the characters that we saw so far, we noticed that they added some Dragon Ball Super characters. We got Whis, and we also got Barris. We got also Topo, and a few other characters that's been added from the Dragon Ball Super, especially from the Universal Tournament arc, which is pretty dope. And I'm looking forward to see what other characters from Super that they're going to add. Will they actually include more in the base roster, or some of them will be left as DLC? And you could tell they're keeping the traditions. We had multiple different versions of Gohan. We have Kid Gohan, and also Piccolo was introduced. So Kid Gohan with his godfather Piccolo was showing off recently in the Apprentice trailer. But we also not only have Kid Gohan, we also have Future Gohan. Future Gohan with the one arm that we have seen in the History of Trunks movie that was released years ago. So he has also made a return, and a lot of you guys are excited for that version of Gohan. But there's also been some, I guess, debate about the design of Future Gohan. They have revealed from the trailer that some of you guys are a little put off by it, but I definitely want to hear your opinions in the comment section below. What do you think about the design of Future Trunks in Budokai, or I would say Dragon Ball Sparking Zero? Definitely want to hear your thoughts on it. But the fighter that I'm more so hoping to see in the base roster, to actually, because like I'm still on the shelf when it comes to wanting to buy this game, because as I said before, I'm much more of a fan of the traditional fighters from the Dragon Ball series, like the original Budokai. I always enjoyed the hell out of that. And then of course Dragon Ball Fighters, I was a big fan of that game as well. So I'm more into that. The arena fighter aspect, I wasn't really that much of a big fan of it. I had Budokai Tenkaichi 2 for Nintendo Wii, and it was fun, but after a while I kind of lost interest in it. But I'm hoping to get into this because the game looks really good, and looking at the mechanics, it looks really dope. But I think the thing that will really sell me on it as for this title, to actually make me say, you know what, I'm gonna just take that leap of faith and just dive right into it. And if they add a team mode, I think a team mode would be will be dope. But the character that would definitely pull me in if he's in the base roster will be Tapion. My boy Tapion needs to be in Sparking Zero base roster. If he's in there, I'm going to buy the game day one and I'm going to main him. And I can just imagine right now, because a lot of you guys are talking about the fireball collision, where everybody used to break their controllers when it does the collision, and I can't wait to see how that's also going to play out and see reaction videos or people memeing that whole aspect when it comes to the Tenkaichi series or just the Dragon Ball 3D series in general. But the biggest question that also people are asking too, if we're seeing Sparking Zero, which is pretty much like a reboot or the revival of the Tenkaichi series, will we eventually see the Budokai series in general make a return? Will we see something like that return? I think that would be pretty cool to see how that will, a return to formula as far as that's concerned, make its way to modern generation of gaming. But it also have my concerns about how Bandai Namco will approach it as far as monetization is concerned. And I think that's the biggest thing that really makes me hold back on this, to see how they will approach this. We've been seeing the behaviors and the patterns when it comes to Tekken 8 and what they have done. Everybody went out and bought it, and then later on, after everybody bought the game, then they added a Tekken shop, they added all these other things, and we have yet to see what other mechanics or other modes, if there's going to be an online lobby, avatar lobby, or anything like that in the game. We don't know. But look at the history of Bandai Namco, what they've been doing recently with their fighting games. I'm just going to just take the wait and see approach before I just dive in and just go out and purchase the game. But that's pretty much my overall thoughts. I want to know, what characters are you hoping to see make it into the base roster of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero? And do you think that Bandai Namco is going to pretty much hold back a bit as far as characters are concerned and save them for DLC or Fighters Pass or whatever type of monetization that it could potentially have for this title? And how long will you think they would support this game? Because Xenoverse has lasted for a very, very long time, Xenoverse 2, and I believe we won't be seeing a Xenoverse 3 anytime soon because of the massive support that the game still have. Do you think this game will have some legs in the near future as far as support is concerned? And what features would you like to see as far as gameplay mechanics and online features and modes for this game? So if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe button for more gaming content here on this channel. This is MugenLord signing off. I'll see you game fiends later. Peace out.